The latest carbon bow from PSE is here, the 2025 Mach 35. How does it perform and who's it for? Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Zach and JR here with Extreme Outfitters. JR, we got another carbon bow. So if you didn't notice, matches my pants perfectly, as Joey said. So that's why I wore them today. But we're gonna talk about this bow. This is brand new for 2025. It came out the end of last year, but we finally just got ours in. What do you think, JR?
It is a very long bow. So it is a 35-inch axle bow. So it's gonna be honestly a very good forgiving bow. It'd be a very good platform for guys looking for a longer draw length option, or if you want something that you can take out west or something like that too, or have as a hybrid bow. So it's gonna be great, especially for those guys in that longer draw length, like I said.
Yeah, I agree. So we both are very familiar with the PSE carbon bows. PSE does a fantastic job when it comes to carbon platforms, in my opinion. I've got the Mach 30, I had the Levitate, you had a Mach 30, a Levitate, Mach 34.
Yep. Had them all,
pretty much all of them, and we can say PSE does make a fantastic carbon bow. But this is the biggest or the longest carbon bow I think that they've produced to date.
Correct.
So again, 35 inches axle to axle. What are the specs on the bow?
Yep, so we're looking at draw length ranges from 27 to 32.5, speeds of up to 328 feet per second, and a staggering 7.25 inch brace height. So very forgiving platform, like I said.
So if you are looking for a bow that's going to produce a lot of speed, this probably isn't it.
No.
Longer axle to axle bows, longer brace height, more forgiving platform. You're going to lose a little bit of speed with that.
Correct.
But it is going to be, should be technically a little bit more accurate platform, especially out the distance.
Correct.
Again, PSE is kept with their EC2 cam, which for me, I really like the EC2 cam. Just again, very, very smooth, consistent beginning to end. You got let-off options that you can change between 80 and 90%. And like you said, this EC2 cam goes from 27 all the way to 32.5 inches. So fits
still just about anybody on the market.
It does, but if you're at that 27-inch draw length, I don't know that this is necessarily going to be, you're going to want to be shooting the light arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, unless if you want something for like an outdoor 3D setup, I mean, that'd be, I think in my opinion, a great option for you.
I agree. And again, they've got their full draw stability, and so that is just supposed to help, again, stability when you're at full draw, right? Keep that bow from torquing left or right, and just provide a really good shooting platform.
Yep. And then also, this on the EZ220 shim system, it's a very easy system to use. So for tunability wise, very simple.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It requires a press still, but take a little bit of tension off the limbs, pop those shims in and out, tuning the bow. It doesn't get any easier than that. What are your thoughts on the grip?
I'm kind of torn on it, to be honest. So most times, if I am running a PSE carbon bow, I am going to run that grip system that UltraView made with knock-on. They have discontinued that, to my knowledge. But I still have a couple, so that's what I normally run. But there are a lot of guys that like to shoot it right off of just the bare riser.
Yeah, that's been me from the beginning. All of my bows, I shoot right off the riser. I just like that sleek, low-profile grip that it gives you. I feel like I can index it repeatedly, just so, and it doesn't, for me, since they've redesigned the riser from the Levitate to the Mach series, I don't get the hand torque that I used to in the Levitate. I felt like I fought that platform quite a bit to get that string and cam to stay in line and track correctly. And with the riser design in the Mach series, I don't have that issue at all.
Yep. I don't think they had their full draw stability system on the Levitate. So maybe they just did a little bit more engineering onto it and got it to be a better system.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead, let's get a weight on this thing.
Yep, and I do believe the dry weight of the bow was 3.9 pounds, so obviously we do have a whisker biscuit on here that we do like to test with all the time. I'm coming in at 4.5 pounds.
So 4.5 pounds at 35 inches of axle to axle, that's not bad.
It's a very light bow.
It is. So as far as we briefed over it a little bit, this bow, it's a long axle to axle bow, so it's not necessarily a great option for everybody, right? For me personally, it's too much bow. For just about anything I do, just because I have a 28.5 inch draw length, 35-inch platform is just a lot. Even for me going out to like tack, I like more of that 32, 33 inch. But this is going to be a great option for who else? Who do you think?
This would be a great out west bow, in my opinion.
Yeah, just hunting in general. Yeah. What about your shorter draw length guys? Do you think they're still going to get performance-wise what they should out of a bow?
Probably not, because like I said, you're going to be more towards that bottom of the cam, so you're going to lose efficiency and performance out of it with that. So if you're under like 29, 30, I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, let's test that.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of performance testing for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and slap on. We got 2 different arrows for you. We've got a
450 grain and then a 540 grain.
And we're going to shoot this bow at 28.5 inches and 31 inches. And that's going to kind of give us a rough idea, speed-wise, what we're getting out of the bow. So we're going to do a 3-shot group with each of the arrows just to see, and give you guys some feedback on how it actually performs speed-wise. All right, guys, we're going to check the draw weight. Like we said, we're going to shoot at 28.5 inches and 31 inches at 90%. And we should be right around 70 pounds.
And that is what PSE ships all their bows at from the factories at 90%.
68.1 pounds. All right, 69.4 pounds, holding 6.6 pounds.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. So we're going to start with this 450 grain arrow and see what we get out of it. This is at 28 inches.
Yeah.
Well, that's a consistent right at 264 feet per second, which to me is very, very surprising. I honestly was not expecting it to be shooting that fast at 28.5 inches with 450 grains. I figured we'd have to drop the weight on it quite a bit to get closer to that speed.
Yeah, I'm actually very impressed with that.
264 feet per second at 28.5 inches. We're gonna go ahead and now move to that, what is this, 540 grains?
540.
Let's see what it's doing at 28.5 inches. 240-ish.
Yeah.
All right, guys, again, that was at 28.5 inches. That was the 540 grain arrow, and we got an average of 242 feet per second. So I take that back for the shorter draw lengths. I'm actually really, really impressed with the speed that this bow is putting out, at especially that 450 grain arrow. What is it, 264 feet per second? So for me personally, I would probably drop the arrow weight a little bit more to get closer to maybe those 270s, hopefully closer to 280 feet per second. But I would also get this bow in 80 pounds. So you'll notice whenever you draw it too, I mean, just how the EC2 cam in general is very, very smooth, but on this long platform, it's incredibly smooth from beginning to end. It's not stiff, it doesn't dump on the back half, and when it rolls over and locks into place, it feels good. Let's move it over to 31 inches now and do that same test.
Yep.
All right, JR, let's make it happen.
Yep. Okay, got to change it over, and now we're gonna do the same testing. This is a 450 grain arrow at 31, so it's gonna be way longer than me. All right, so our 3-shot average, we got 289.8 to be precise, according to the Garmin. Not bad. That's very impressive. At a 450 grain arrow, 31 inches. All right, next we're gonna go over to this 540 grain arrow. 540 grain arrow, 31 inches, 70 pounds roughly. Mach 35. 265.5, so we were getting a 3-shot average of 265.9.
Take it back. That bow is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Jesus, stutter over my words. Impressive at a 35-inch axle bow. So let's talk about the feel of the bow. Again, a lot of bow, EC2 cam. We've already talked about it. Very smooth. How does the bow feel to you at full draw?
Feels great. I mean, I can't get the best feel for it because it is long on me at 31 inches, so I can't get like 100% great feel for it. But just that little bit of shooting I've done on it, I'm impressed with it.
I am too. Being as long as it is, the string angle feels fantastic on it. You know, I'm used to shooting that Mach 30, which is a lot steeper, even at 28.5 inches. But that long axle to axle, that string angle is just, it feels, I mean, it doesn't get any better feeling than that. You'll notice, I think, with all of the PSE carbon bows, including this one, there is almost no feedback after your shot. In my opinion, it's very, very minimal. I don't get a lot of vibration from it.
Correct, yeah, it felt very good. And at full draw, it felt almost locked in.
It does. It rolls over. It's at 90%'s a lot now. So there is that. I don't shoot a bow at 90%. I typically shoot 85%. You do notice the difference. I don't care what anyone says when that bow rolls over because you almost have to force it down at 90%. So letting down the bow at 90% is tough, but clearly you get good speeds out of it. And then we're inside, so there is an echo, but it's a quiet bow, especially for the speeds it's producing.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with it. That's really all I can say.
Looks good, feels good, shoots good. So, let's talk about the pros and cons of this bow. Like I said, because there's pros and cons to every bow that's out there, right? And there are pros to cons of this bow. For me, the pros of this this bow is, one, it looks really good. I think the carbon bows are sharp looking. Two, the string angle on it. It's very, very, it's not a steep angle. I don't feel like I've got to bring my head down to it. It just it feels like it comes in naturally. It feels really good. And then the draw cycle, again, on the EC2 cam, just fantastic.
Yes, it is a very hard cam to beat. It's been around for years. I mean, they started with the Evolve cam.
Right.
Then they made their second rendition of it, and it's just gotten better from there. So, yeah, it's a great performing cam, great shooting bow. I would say if you can, go shoot one.
Absolutely. So when we talk about, there's also cons that come along with some of the bows, right? And for me, one of the ones, the biggest issues with this bow is the overall length for me, right? And it's not designed for everybody. It's a lot of bow. It's not something I personally would take and hunt with just because it's a lot.
Right, I agree there, especially here in eastern North Carolina. Vegetation is very thick around here, so this is not the most ideal bow for probably on the East Coast or at least eastern North Carolina, but going out west, like I said, this would be a great option for that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the bow is going to do exceptionally well. We've had a lot of questions on it. People waiting for us to review this bow. We just finally got it in. So excited about it. I think it's going to do well. It's going to be a great addition to the PSE carbon bow lineup. They've got the 30, they've got the 33, which is, I think, the #1 seller. And now they've got the 35. So collect them all, essentially, right?
Yep, Pokemon. Get them all.
Get one of each. They've got the new colors. They look fantastic. PSE has continued with the color options for their quivers, so you can get their quivers that match the bows, the new olive green and this clay brown, which I like the clay a whole lot. The green looks sharp as well. And then they've got their stabilizer options. So you get good accessory options along with this bow that pair up nicely with the PSE line.
Correct.
There you go, guys. That is the PSE Mach 35. Again, another fantastic option. We highly encourage you, if you can, come in the shop, shoot one. It's another great option when it comes to the PSE carbon bows, like we've said. So if you're local, Jacksonville, North Carolina, come by and see us. We've got one set up in 70 pounds. Feel free to shoot it, get a feel for it. If you're not local, stop by your local PSE dealer.
Hopefully they got one and you can try it out.
Hopefully they do got one. It took us a while, but we finally got one in stock, and I anticipate it's not going to last long.
Yep.
What else you got, JR?
Don't forget website. If you order arrows on there, we do offer free cut and glue and free shipping over $50.
We do. Make sure you use the code FREESHIP. You need archery stuff, come see us. Extreme Outfitters, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Head over to the website, extremeoutfitters.com. As always, we appreciate you guys watching and follow along. Drop some comments for us. Let us know what you guys think. What long axle-to-axle bows are you shooting? What's the longest axle-to-axle bow that you would consider shooting? Whether it's for hunting, 3D, Total Archery Challenge, or it's a hybrid bow, let us know in the comments. Again, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you all in the next video.